This man is a YouTube genius, aka the godfather of YouTube. He's worked with Mr. Beast, Eric, Ryan Trahan, Noah Keegan, and many other big YouTubers. I've analyzed every single interview with Paddy Galloway and read a dozen of his tweets. And in this video, I will be sharing with you all of his thumbnail magic. Wingardium Leviosa. Tip number 1. Mind game. In one of his interviews with Jay Klaus, Paddy Galloway shared that a thumbnail is just 10% design and 90% psychology. Let's take a look at this thumbnail of Mark Rober. He's testing if sharks can smell blood underwater. So this thumbnail has a very beautiful scenario, right? You can see Mark Rober with his hand pointing at the camera and the shark in the background. Now, what's the picture he creates? Someone is about to get attacked, potentially by a shark. And this thumbnail of Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast pays an assassin to try to kill him. And in the thumbnail we can see Mr. Beast reaching out his hand and the assassin with a knife right at the throat of Mr. Beast. And what's the picture he creates? Mr. Beast about to get killed by an assassin. Let's take a look at one final thumbnail. This thumbnail of Ryan Trahan trying 1-star rated drive-thrus. In the thumbnail we can see Ryan Trahan pointing a French fry at the camera. And in the text we can see I got poisoned. And what's the picture? Ryan Trahan possibly poisoned by the 1-star rated drive-thru food. But it's one thing that is common in all three of the videos. It creates suspension and opens a loop. Was Mark Rober really attacked by the shark? Was Mr. Beast really caught by the assassin? Or was Ryan Trahan really poisoned by the 1-star rated food? Now, to find the answer to these questions, you will have to watch the video. Now, that's a pretty clever thumbnail strategy if you ask me. Tip number 2, build a brand. Paddy Galloway mentions how important it is to build a brand with your thumbnails, right? Your viewers must be able to spot, oh, that's a Paddy Galloway video, that's a Mr. Beast video, that's an Eric video. Take a look at Paddy's this thumbnail. This, and this. Take a look at Mr. Beast, this thumbnail, and the 2 of these. Take a look at Noah Keegan's, the 4 of these thumbnails. What did you notice? They are not just thumbnails, they are brands. They might not look the same, or they might not have the same layout. But when your viewers see these thumbnails, they can recognize whose video it is. Tip number 3, pick the words. The question, should I add text in my thumbnails, has been around YouTube for a while. The simple answer of Paddy Galloway to this question is, you decide. The real answer to this question really depends on your niche and the type of content you create. If you are an educator on YouTube, you might need to add text on your thumbnails. For example, if you take off the text of this thumbnail of Paddy Galloway, the viewers might be left clueless and the thumbnail looks half empty. And if you take the text of this Noah Keegan thumbnail, it would look like a random guy standing at a doorstep asking for something. On the other hand, if you are an entertainer on YouTube, the thumbnail text is optional, right? For example, if we'll take the Mark Rober shark example. If you add a label saying shark to this thumbnail, it will add extra elements to the thumbnail, and the more natural, the more raw nature of the thumbnail will be gone. If you take this thumbnail of Mr. Beast and add a text like will he survive, it won't change anything in the thumbnail for the better, because as a viewer inside your head you already have the question, will he survive? If you do add text to your thumbnails, make sure these texts add more story and suspense to your thumbnail. Which brings us to tip number 4, keep the gap. Paddy Galloway shared his one-of-a-kind thumbnail strategy, which I think is very clever. Paddy Galloway uses inspiration from anything outside to come up with his one-of-a-kind killer thumbnail titles. For example, this thumbnail title right here was inspired by this thumbnail, The Man Who Solved the Stock Market. He found that interesting and he thought I could use the same thing for my own content. The man who solved YouTube, the man who beat YouTube, the man who broke YouTube. Even Mr. Beast did this in his thumbnails. He used the movie Severance as an inspiration to come up with this killer thumbnail of his. Now you might be wondering, why did this guy label this tip as the gap? Well, that is because of the one-of-a-kind psychological trick Paddy uses in his videos called the principal gap theory. People are driven to seek information when there is a gap between what they know and what they want to know. What do they know? Big YouTube philanthropist, Mr. Beast. And what do they want to know? How did Mr. Beast break YouTube? And you create that space for the viewers to think it can only mean one thing. more clicks to find answers. That's all the magic Paddy Galloway uses to make his one-of-a-kind killer thumbnails. Also guys, check this other video of mine where I break down all the clever strategies used by Mr. Beast when designing his clever thumbnails as well. Make sure to subscribe to YouTube Automation if you learned something new from this video. It sure means a lot. That's it for this video guys. See you guys in the next one. Hello creators! Need a break from non-stop editing? We edit your videos, create your thumbnails and run your YouTube ads while you relax and watch your channel grow. So click the link in the description and join YouTube Automation.